Hello, and welcome to the SelfServe Center's Custody and Visitation instruction video. The information in this video will educate you in the process of filling out the child custody and visitation forms and tips for representing yourself in court. If you need any assistance, you can contact an attorney by calling the Mecklenburg County Bar Referral Service or Legal Aid of North Carolina. Child custody is what the courts define as the legal rights that a parent has over a child, such as the right to make decisions or the duty to care for the child. There are two types of custody. The first, physical custody, means that the child lives with you. Legal custody means that you have the legal right to make decisions regarding the child. Visitation means a non-custodial parent's period of access to a child. The forms for child custody or visitation were created to file for either the custody or visitation for the child. To file for child custody or visitation, the child must have lived in North Carolina for at least the past 6 months for North Carolina to have jurisdiction over the case. Or, if the child is less than 6 months old, then the child must have lived in North Carolina since birth. There cannot be a current order or pending action from any county of this state or any other state court concerning custody of the child. If there has been any DSS involvement where the child was removed from one home and placed in another home, you might not be able to file in family court. Now, if a parent is filling out the form packets for a child with different fathers or mothers, the parent will have to fill out 2 separate form packets for each different parent. For example, a mother has 3 children. 2 of the children are with one father, and 1 of the children is with another father. The mother can put the first 2 children on one form packet, but must fill out a different form packet for the 3rd child. Lastly, if a third party, such as a grandmother, is filling out the form packet, he or she must list both biological parents on the forms as defendants. To receive a packet in order to file for child custody or visitation, visit the SelfServe Center, located at 832 East 4th Street, room 3350 on the 3rd floor of the courthouse. Once you receive your packet, be sure to read the instructions. After you have finished reading the instructions, it's time to begin filling out the forms. The first document you are going to fill out is called the Domestic Civil Action Cover Sheet. This document lets the court know who the parties are and what you are filing for. First, in the blank next to the word county, we are going to write the county in which we are filing. In this case, we are going to put the word Mecklenburg. Beneath that, there is a box labeled Name and Address of Plaintiff 1. There, you are going to write your name and address, so the court has your name and address on file. Next, we are going to jump down to the box right below the word versus where it says Name of Defendant 1. There, you are going to write the name of the party you are filing against. Beneath that, where it says Summons Submitted, you are going to check Yes, because you will be submitting a summons to the clerk of court. On the right-hand side of the document, you are going to check Initial Filing. This is the first time you are filing for child custody, therefore it is the first filing. you are going to check No where it asks for jury demanded in pleading, and beneath that, in the box labeled Name and Address of Plaintiff or Attorney, you are going to write your name and address again if you are representing yourself in court. Next, we are going to move to the bottom half of the document. Underneath where it says Type of Pleading, we are going to check the box next to the word Complaint. On the right side of the paper, where it says Claims for Relief, we are filing for custody and visitation, so we are going to check the box labeled Custody and Visitation. At the very bottom, where it says Date and Signature of Attorney or Party, we are going to put the date that we are filling out the paperwork, and we are going to sign with our signature. After your signature, you have completed the Domestic Civil Action cover sheet. The second document that you are going to need to fill out is called the Civil Summons. Again, in the top left corner, next to the word County, you are going to write in the county in which you are filing. Again, we are going to put the term Mecklenburg. Underneath, in the box labeled Name of Plaintiff, you are going to put your name. In the box below, where it asks for address, you are again going to put your address. Once you have finished adding your address to the document, underneath where the term Versus is, you are going to write the name of the defendant in the box where it asks for the name of defendants. Below that, where it says Name and Address of Defendant 1, you are going to write the defendant's name again, and below that, write their address where you would like them to be served. You are not going to fill out anything on the right side of the document except for the box where it asks which court you're filing in, either district or superior. Be sure to check district. Now at the very left-hand corner, at the bottom of the page where it says Name and Address of Plaintiff's Attorney or Party, you are again going to write your name and address. You are again not going to fill in any of the right side of the document. Once you have those names and addresses, you have completed the civil summons. The next document that you are going to fill out is called the Complaint for Child Custody or Visitation. Now we are again going to start on the left-hand side of the paper. On the line above the word plaintiff, you are going to write your name. On the next line down, above the term defendant, you are going to write the opposing party's name. Next, below the caption Parties, Jurisdiction, and Venue, on number 1, you are going to write the county and state to which you are a citizen and resident of. On line number 2, you are going to write your address. The next line asks where the defendant is a citizen and resident of. On that line, you are going to put the county and state of where the defendant lives. Below that, on line number 4, you are going to write the defendant's address. On line number 5, you are going to write the defendant's relationship to the child. If the defendant is the child's father, you are going to write father. If the defendant is the child's mother, then you are going to write mother. The next line, line number 6, asks you to list the names, ages, and birth dates of the child or children at issue in this case. On line number 7, you are going to explain your standing to bring this civil action. You are either going to write, I am the mother, or I am the father. On the next page, line number 8, you are going to write down the addresses of where the child has lived for the past 5 years, or since birth if the child is less than 5 years old. You are going to write the child's name, birth date, and birthplace, and you are going to list where they currently live, beginning from when they first moved into that location up until the present date. Be sure to include the name of the person with whom the child lives right now and their address if it is different from the address where the child currently resides. Next, line number 9 is asking if you have or have not participated as a party, witness, or in any other capacity in litigation concerning child custody of the minor child. Circle whichever is appropriate in your case. 10 is asking again if you have any information about another custody proceeding regarding the minor child. Be sure to circle all that apply. Next, on line 11, circle if you know or do not know of a person not a party to the case who has physical custody of the child. Number 12 is basic language indicating that the District Court of Mecklenburg County has personal jurisdiction over the parties. 13 is stating that the venue, meaning Mecklenburg County, is the correct place to file. And 14 is where you are stating if that you, the plaintiff, are a fit and proper person to have primary custody or visitation of the child or children you're filing for. Under prayer for relief, you are going to check 1, 2, or 3, whichever you believe applies to your case. be sure to circle custody or visitation to indicate to the court what you are asking for. Be sure to date and sign and list your current address and telephone number at the bottom of that page. The verification page must be signed in the presence of a notary public. You can find a notary public at your local bank, the SelfServe Center, or in the Yellow Pages. Keep in mind that notaries may charge a small fee for their services. The last page that you must fill out is called the Service Members Civil Relief Act Affidavit. This sheet indicates to the court if the defendant is a current member of our military. At the top of the page, underneath where it says State of North Carolina, in the space right before the word county, you again are going to put the term Mecklenburg, or the name of the county in which you are filing. Below, where it says name and address of plaintiff, you are again going to write your name and address. Beneath the plaintiff box, where it says name and address of defendant, you must write the name and address of the opposing party. Next, you need to indicate whether or not you have personal knowledge that the defendant is or is not in the military. Under number 1, check which box applies. Under number 2, indicate whether or not you are going to use the Service Members Civil Relief Act website, or check B if you are going to write how you know the individual is not in the military. If you choose to use the website, you must get a printout to give to the clerk of court. Once you have your printout or you have completed letter B, you need to get this signed in front of a notary public. Again, do not sign until you are in the presence of a notary. If you are filing for non-parent custody of a child, on your domestic civil action cover sheet, you need to be sure to list both the biological mother and father as defendants. Again, when filling out the civil summons, in the box that states name of defendants, you need to put both the name of the biological mother and father. Underneath, where it states to list the name and address of defendant 1 and defendant 2, you are going to put the name and address of the biological father in one box and the name and address of the biological mother in the other box. When filling out the complaint for non-parent child custody, on the lines above the word plaintiff, you are going to write your name. On the line above the words natural mother, you are going to list the name of the biological mother of the child or children. Beneath that, where it says natural father, you are going to list the name of the biological father of the children. On line number 1, you are going to write the name of the county and the state in which you are a current citizen and resident of. And on line 2, you, the plaintiff, are going to write your address. Line number 3 addresses the natural mother. You are going to write the county and state in which the natural mother is a current citizen and resident of. On the line below, be sure to write the address of the natural mother. Line 5 addresses the natural father. Write the county and state in which the father is a citizen and resident of. On line number 6, be sure to include the address that the natural father is currently listing as his home address. Under number 7, list the name, age, and birth date of the minor child at issue in this case. Under number 8, explain your standing to bring this civil action. For example, if you are the grandmother, write, "I am the grandmother." Under number 9, you are going to explain why the natural mother should not have a priority position in this case. Under number 10, you are going to address the natural father and why he should not have a priority position in this case. Under number 11, list where the child has lived for the past 5 years, or if the child is less than 5 years old, since birth. Be sure to include the name of the child's birth date, and the child's birthplace. On the next page, for line number 12, you are going to circle whichever applies to your case. If you have or have not participated as a party, witness, or in another capacity in a litigation regarding the minor child. On number 13, again, you are going to circle what applies to you. 14, you are also going to circle whichever applies to you. And number 15, you again are going to circle whether or not you know or do not know of any other person who claims to have custody of the minor child. Number 16 contains basic language that indicates that the District Court of Mecklenburg County has personal jurisdiction over this case. 17 indicates that the venue is correct, and 18 states that the defendants have lost their priority status as biological parents of the minor children. Under number 19, be sure to circle whatever applies to you. Under prayer for relief, be sure to check whichever you are asking the court to give you. Be sure to date and sign this document, as well as provide the court with your current address as well as telephone number. Remember, because you are dealing with both the natural mother and the natural father, you need to fill out a Service Members Civil Relief Act affidavit for both the natural mother and the natural father. Both of those documents will also need to be notarized. There are multiple ways that you can serve the defendant their copies of the documents that you're filing in court. The first option is service by sheriff. In order to serve by sheriff, you must bring with you $30 and tell the clerk of court when you go to file that you wish to have the defendant served by sheriff. You will also need to check back in with the sheriff's office after 30 days to see if service has actually been completed. Another method of service is through certified mail. In order to show the court that you served the opposing party by certified mail, you will need two things: an affidavit of service of process and this green card. This card should have the name of the opposing party and their address, a signature by the defendant, their printed name, and the date they were served. You will take this green card and attach it to an affidavit of service. In order to fill out this form, you are going to start on the left-hand side where it states State of North Carolina. Underneath those terms, you are going to write the name of the county in which you are filing, in our case, Mecklenburg. Be sure to include the name of the plaintiff, which is yourself, and the name of the defendant. Next, in the upper right-hand corner, be sure to also write your file number, as well as to check the box into which court that your case is going to be heard. Underneath that, indicate to the court how you served the other party, in this case by certified mail. Next, list the name of the person that you served. In this case, we are going to put the name of the defendant. Also include their address on the lines below. Lastly, you will need to include the date of receipt. This is the date on the green card where it states date of delivery. That tells the court the date they were served. Once you have completed this form, you will need to get it notarized. Do not fill out that section until you are in front of a notary public. Again, you can find a notary at the SelfServe Center, at your local bank, or in the Yellow Pages. The last method of service is by publication or posting an ad in the newspaper. This is your last resort. If you have not been able to serve the defendant by sheriff or by certified mail, then you need to consider service by publication. If you reach this step, go to the SelfServe Center and talk to the staff about how you would be able to do this, or reach out to an attorney. Once you are done filling out your documents, be sure to get anything that needs to be notarized by a notary public. Once your forms are notarized, you will need to make copies. Look in your instructions to see how many copies of each form that you will need. One copy will be for the clerk of court, one will be for yourself, and one will be for the defendant. If you need any extras, it will be listed in your instructions. Once you have your copies, take your original and your copies to room 3725 to file with the clerk of court. After you have filed and the other party has been served, you will receive information regarding child custody mediation. You will be required to complete an online parenting course, as well as to attend child custody mediation orientation before you may attend your session. Your session will be with a mediator as well as the opposing party to discuss what custody and visitation will look like going forward. If you do not come to an agreement in child custody mediation, your case will be scheduled for trial. In order to prepare, the SelfServe Center offers a custody trial preparation clinic once a month with Valerie Quick, a licensed practicing attorney here in North Carolina. Go to the SelfServe Center in order to sign up for this clinic. You can represent yourself in this trial. Just be sure to be prepared. When going to court, be sure to be dressed appropriately, as if you are going to a job interview. When you arrive for your trial date, be sure to always address the judge as Your Honor. Do not interrupt the judge or opposing counsel. Bring with you all of the evidence already printed that you wish to present to the judge, as well as any witnesses. When it comes to your argument, it would be helpful to have what you want to say to the judge listed on a piece of paper so you can be sure to address every point that you want to during your trial.